What's up, guys? It's Zero here. Today we're talking about Death Stranding 2 and everything that we know about this upcoming title. Let's get into it. So guys, Death Stranding 2 on the beach, the up-and-coming, highly anticipated continuation of Hideo Kojima's really, I would say surprising Death Stranding 1, coming off of the heels of that and what that game was. There was certainly, it wasn't a perfect game, but overall, guys, it was an incredible experience, and I can't wait to dive into Death Stranding 2 and everything that he has in terms of all of the mystery, all the lore, the rich history that seems that Death Stranding is really starting to build, and I can't wait to dive more into this lore, into this story, and really see what Hideo Kojima has cooking up for us. So, in an article coming to us from Liam Croft of Push Square, are you looking for everything we know so far about Death Stranding 2? Following the success of the first game, Hideo Kojima and his team at Kojima Productions are back for another mysterious and gripping sequel. With the release still a fair way out, this Death Stranding 2 guide is designed to share everything we know so far about the title, revealing all of the important details and media reveals. So, obviously, guys, the number one thing that people are wondering about is when is Death Stranding 2 going to be releasing? Well, this first section is going to cover that, and the release date, guys, Kojima Productions has not announced a final release date for Death Stranding 2 yet, but is confirmed to be releasing at some point in 2025. The likelihood is Death Stranding 2 will come out in the final few months of the year. So, obviously, guys, I'm really excited about, about this title, and, the release date coming out this year is going to be really interesting for a couple of reasons, because number one, I think, everybody's looking at GTA 6 and when that game's releasing. So I'm assuming that Sony and Kojima Productions are probably waiting to hear back from, of course, Rockstar when they're going to be releasing GTA 6, because I don't think that Death Stranding, or really any game, wants to stay very close to when GTA 6 comes out, because it's going to be the biggest game on the planet, whether you like it or not. And so Death Stranding 2, I really wanted to release at a time where, there's not a lot of other huge juggernaut titles coming out. I think it's important that it tries to stand on its own somewhat, doesn't try to compete with other huge games like GTA or Call of Duty, things of that nature. And yes, there is definitely a very passionate fan base behind Death Stranding, but I just wanted to release at a time when it's going to be able to sell the most and do the most for the platform. So, at the time of the writing, Death Stranding 2 is only releasing on PS5. It's been announced as a PS5 exclusive. No surprise there. Do I wish it came to Xbox? That would be awesome if, it was available to more people, but you could say the same thing about Halo or Gears of War on the flip side for Xbox. I'm sure a lot of PlayStation people would love to play those games, and so this is a, console exclusive, and I totally understand it. So, while the first game debuted on PS4 and was later updated for PS5 via the Director's Cut version, Death Stranding 2 will only come out on PS5 as far as PlayStation platforms are concerned. And I'm good with this because when you release a game on the older gen consoles, now if the new gen console just came out, like the PS5 had just come out, it makes sense to put it on both consoles. But with it being this far in the cycle of the new gen consoles, if you release it on the PS4, it'd be great for people who don't have a PS5 yet, but at the same time, the graphics and things of that nature may not be nearly as good on PS4 as they are on the PS5, and I'm sure that Kojima wants to, from a graphic fidelity perspective, wants to make sure that this game looks as good as it possibly can, and they may feel that they're going to get the best out of the PS5. So, that being said, Death Stranding 2 is only announced for PS5 so far, but the chances of it coming to PC are extremely high. It may stay exclusive to PS5 for a limited time, but the first game came to PC less than a year after its initial PS4 launch. There's a strong chance the same will happen with Death Stranding 2, which would be awesome, of course, for all of you who primarily play PC. You know, for me, guys, one of the things I really want to see out of Death Stranding 2 is I would love to see it release on PlayStation Premium Plus day one, kind of like what Xbox Game Pass does with a lot of their, titles that come out, like, that are console exclusives, go directly to Xbox Game Pass on day one. I would love to see this here with Death Stranding 2. Like, I'll give you an example. We really aren't getting that very much, at least from PlayStation's point. They, released God of War on the PlayStation Premium Plus, and God of War Ragnarok, the very much incredible sequel to God of War, just recently came out on the PlayStation Premium Plus, and it's been out for quite some time now. So I really hope that this really would help them continue to build that PlayStation Premium Plus, player count. And so I would really love to see that here. A lot of people want to know if it's going to be on Xbox or if it's going to be on the Switch too. And guys, right now, it sounds like that Kojima Productions has stated that it wants to bring the Death Stranding IP to more platforms and audiences. So may that include a Nintendo Switch 2 release, potentially. But the power of Nintendo's next console is going to be a large factor in whether a port is possible or not. The first Death Stranding title hasn't come to the original Nintendo Switch either. Of the possible platforms Death Stranding 2 could release on, the Nintendo Switch 2 feels like the least likely. I agree with this. It's interesting. Kojima Productions, they have, for a while now have been pretty much exclusively working with Sony, but more recently, they're actually working with Xbox on an Xbox exclusive called OD, and that trailer was very eerie, really, really compelling. I'm excited to see more about that, and so it definitely sounds like Kojima is open to working with other, platforms for sure. In terms of when can we pre-order Death Stranding 2, well, generally speaking, pre-orders go live, especially for the digital version, when a confirmed and final release date has been revealed. Death Stranding 2 lacks a launch date right now, which is why you can't pre-order it just yet. When Kojima Productions makes the announcement and reveals additional versions, like a collector's edition, expect to be able to pre-order Death Stranding 2 shortly after. Yeah, so we got to just wait and see when the release date is first, guys, and then I think the day or the trailer that they release with the release date will be the time that you're able to pre-order the title. When we talk about the story, guys, this is where it gets interesting. Death Stranding 2 will indeed act as a direct sequel to the first game, though most of its story remains a mystery. Here's the official plot setup from Kojima Productions. Embark on an inspiring mission of human connection beyond the UCA. Sam, with companions by his side, sets out on a new journey to save humanity from extinction. Join them as they traverse a world beset by otherworldly enemies, obstacles, and a haunting question: should we have connected? And obviously, guys, a lot of people are wondering about this photo mode effect. Well, one of the more bizarre but fascinating details that has been revealed about Death Stranding 2 is that the game's photo mode will have an impact on the overall story in some way. Obviously, this is probably only going to be a minor effect. Photo mode is an optional extra traditionally just for taking pictures in-game. However, Hideo Kojima has confirmed the photo mode has an impact on the Death Stranding 2 story, and it would be better to take good pictures of the cast, which is really, really interesting. I can't wait to see what, really exactly what that is all going to mean in terms of the story moving forward. I think that'll be really, really interesting. So the entire Death Stranding 2 cast has not been confirmed yet, but based on the 2 trailers we've received so far, there will be some returning faces from the first game. Main character Sam Porter Bridges is back after the events of the first game, and so too is Fragile and big bad guy Higgs. So I'm excited. Obviously, having Norman Reedus back in the boots of Sam Porter Bridges, I think is going to be absolutely awesome, and they're, got a number of new characters, but a lot of returning characters as well. That being said, will Mads Mikkelsen be in Death Stranding 2? Hideo Kojima has confirmed Mads Mikkelsen won't feature in Death Stranding 2 as Cliff following the events of the first game. So that's interesting that he confirmed that. And then, obviously, Death Stranding 2's gameplay. Will you deliver packages and build bridges in Death Stranding 2? Well, this next part of the Death Stranding 2 guide touches on how the sequel will play, discussing whether the gameplay will be similar to the first game. When it was first released, much was made of how a lot of people didn't really understand the Death Stranding loop. Coming off of Hideo Kojima's previous franchise, Metal Gear Solid, the game was met with questions like, what do you actually do? It turns out that delivering packages and working out how to traverse the environment really was the gameplay focus, with combat not as important. 6 years later, though, it seems the general consensus on Death Stranding is far more positive. The sequel is expected to play similarly to the first game, with journeys across its map again the focus of gameplay. As a sequel, however, the gameplay loop may be expanded with new features and mechanics. So for me, guys, yeah, I mean, this is Hideo Kojima at his finest, right? He is so good at creating these really mysterious worlds where he doesn't just tell you everything that's going on. You kind of have to figure out those things, and there's a lot of imagination that goes into it as well as to where his brain kind of goes in terms of this story. Now, what I will say is delivering packages and all of that in the first game was great. This game, though, Death Stranding 2, I really, really want to see this title go in the direction of more action. I think having more action than delivering packages once again is going to be, something that could continue to elevate this franchise moving forward, where it's not just about delivering packages and having, mixed action here and there. No, this is, now we're going into a more action-oriented environment. I would love to see where we can play with our friends, whether it's like a, some type of co-op mode, things of that nature. I would love to have multiple ways to connect with this universe, but I think having a little more action might be really beneficial for this title. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that in the comment section down below. So obviously a lot of people want to know, how close is the game to being finished? Well, Death Stranding 2 is slated to launch for PS5 in 2025, so you have to imagine Kojima Productions is close to the final stretch of development at this stage. The latest update from Hideo Kojima came in May 2024 when he said that all recording and filming for the game is complete as it enters the adjustment phase. In the time since then, Kojima has been pictured playing and working on Death Stranding 2, so the work very much continues. And then, of course, Death Stranding 2 is using the Decima engine, which was first created by Guerrilla Games for the PS4 launch game Killzone Shadowfall. It's since been used for Until Dawn and the two mainline Horizon games. And then people have kind of looked at the trailer as Sam Porter Bridges looks older in it. Well, as opposed to his appearance in the first game, Sam Porter Bridges appears much older in one specific scene in the original announcement trailer for Death Stranding 2. This could be due to a time skip that takes place during the sequel, or it could be the result of something that happens in the game. Remember the timefall phenomenon, where rain touching a human rapidly accelerates their aging. We see its effect on Fragile in the first game, and this could be one possibility for why Sam appears old in one trailer. And then the doll of the puppet, we see in the second Death Stranding 2 trailer is called Doll Man, and they're a man trapped inside a puppet. We don't know how they've gotten themselves into the situation yet, but it appears Doll Man is a companion of Sam Porter Bridges and is on his side along with Fragile. What's impressive about the character is whenever they're on screen, the frame rate is purposely lowered to give Doll Man a stop motion effect. Really, really fascinating, guys. I think, look, at the end of the day, I'm really excited. Even though there's a lot of mystery around Death Stranding at this point, we don't know a lot about the game. Kojima does a really good job of keeping all of his games and things of that nature under wraps, but I'm really excited about this sequel. I think that there's, to see where they left off with the first game and where they could be going in the second game. This is really becoming a flagship franchise for PlayStation. Now, obviously, Death Stranding 2 has to live up to the hype and the excitement, and I think they definitely need to add things to it, build off of the first game, what you did really well, and also add new things. Like I had mentioned, having more action over, kind of building, right? Or, delivering packages and things of that nature. I think adding action to this, or a lot more action, could be really sweet to see in this title. We'll have to wait and see until the game comes out, but I'll keep you guys all up to speed as more information comes out. Let me know, though, guys. Are you guys excited about Death Stranding 2? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Death Stranding 2 content and videos, keep it right here.